There is one word to describe the legislative action early in this session of the Pennsylvania House, and that word is action. How are Republicans in the House leading the charge? Let's find out by spending 5 minutes with State Representative Justin Simmons of Lehigh and Northampton counties. Thanks for stopping by.
Thanks for having me here.
As I said, action has been kind of the word so far. There's a lot of things on the plate. There's a lot of priorities. I want to talk about them one by one briefly. And the biggest one right now that we're facing or coming up on is the state budget. The fiscal year ends June 30th. Talk about the priorities from a House, spending priorities from a House Republican standpoint, from your standpoint, and also what about this potential $3 to $4 million budget shortfall?
Well, that's the first thing we have to realize is right now we have about a $4 billion deficit here in Pennsylvania. We can't print money like the federal government. We have to balance that budget. Governor Corbett has signed a no new tax pledge. I, along with many members of the General Assembly and our Republican caucus, have signed a no new tax pledge. So what that basically means is we're going to have to make cuts, or we're going to have to think outside the box. Some of the more important aspects of the budget involve transportation, education, Department of Public Welfare. Those things we have to make sure are funded and funded well. But we have to balance our budget without raising taxes here in Pennsylvania.
An idea has been proposed. It's been proposed before, but in this case it could actually help to solve that budget shortfall, and that is privatizing the state's liquor stores. Where do you stand on that? Good idea, bad idea?
I think it's a great idea. 48 other states allow private entities to sell alcohol. Utah's the only other state that does it. I had a debate last week with the head of the Food and Commercial Workers Union who represents liquor store workers. And as I told him in that debate, prohibition ended in the 1930s. It's something that's archaic. The governor at the time when he created the LCB at that time stated that his goal was to make sure that liquor was as hard as possible to buy. I believe the private sector is more efficient. I believe prices will be lower, and I think it's way overdue to do that.
Would you be in favor of privatization even if it wasn't a revenue producer and a budget fixer in some respects?
Absolutely. Studies show it will be a revenue producer because keep in mind, you're going to have all these liquor licenses, you're going to make money off of that. All these companies are going to be paying corporate net income tax or the personal income tax. There's still going to be a sales tax on alcohol. So it's definitely going to give us some sort of revenue. People can debate the numbers though.
Moving on, there's a big debate, or there is a big coming debate on legislation that would require all new home construction to have sprinkler systems in them. Now, certainly that's a safety issue, but again, from your standpoint, good idea, bad idea?
I think it's a bad idea. House Republicans right now are currently debating a bill to repeal that mandate that was created a few years ago here in Pennsylvania to make sprinklers in all new homes, require them. I think it's a bad idea. I think it's another mandate by government on an industry that is hurting very much right now. The only thing sprinklers would even remotely help are older homes. But they're not being required for them. New homes have materials, and the bill says it with certain steel beams and materials for steel beams that wouldn't need the sprinklers per se. It's another mandate that's just going to increase costs on our homeowners and our builders, and I think it's the wrong time, and I would think we need to repeal it.
And just to clarify, the current law actually does mandate it right now. That is law?
Yeah, this month, January 2011, it started. The law began. Now we're looking at repealing it.
So what's being debated is the repeal of that law.
Repeal of it, yes.
Very good. Lastly, another hot topic, and that is in the area of education. A lot of folks are advocating for school choice. Your thoughts on that?
Well, we have to look at the facts. In the last 10 years, since about the year 2000, education funding has increased 66%. Education funding per pupil has increased 65%. Enrollment in Pennsylvania has dipped 1%, yet we've increased education employees by 33,000% and performance is down. What we're currently doing is not working here in Pennsylvania. One of the bills out there right now is SB 1, which would provide for, in the first year, for low-income students to pick a school of their choice in the 143 worst-performing schools in Pennsylvania. There's a lot that needs to be debated on that legislation yet, but on the concept of school choice, I think it's a good idea. I think we need to get our country and our state back up on the top again in terms of rankings, and I think school choice is a way to get us there.
Representative Simmons, you have got a full agenda this spring and going into the summer. These are not lightweight issues by any means. Thanks for stopping by. I know you'll keep us updated on those.
Thank you for having me here.
And if you have any questions for Representative Simmons, you can contact him at his district office or through his website. You can also follow him on Facebook and Twitter. You'll see that information in a moment. Thanks for spending 5 minutes with State Representative Justin Simmons.